Happy Thursday, everybody. You guys have been working so hard this week. I gave you a lot of things to do, and I hope you're able to do all of them. If not, that's okay. I hope that you're having fun because that was the point of all of it, for us to have fun and review the things we've been learning. And today, we're going to talk about something that we haven't talked about in a while. We're going to talk about beginning sounds. So today's read aloud is brought to you by the letter S, as in some, smug, slug. We haven't read this one in a while, but I thought it would be a fun one to read again to remind us about beginning sounds, the sound that a word starts with. So when I say some, smug, slug, every one of those words starts with a S sound. And as you can see, each one of these words starts with the letter S. So, Some Smug Slug is written by Pamela Duncan Edwards, and it's illustrated by Henry Cole. So here we go. And as I read through this, I want you guys to see if you hear a lot of words that have the same beginning sound. One summer Sunday, while strolling on soil, with its antenna signaling a slug, sensed a slope. I'm going to zoom in. We talked about slugs a couple weeks ago when we learned about bugs. And look, there's his antennas right there. Slowly, the slug started up the steep surface, stringing behind it, scribble sparkling like silk. "Stop!" screamed a sparrow, shattering the silence. "Save him!" shrieked a spider, scurrying down its strand. We learned about spiders too, haven't we? Spiders have how many legs? Do you remember? 8 legs, that's right. "Silly," sighed a swallowtail, swooshing through the spice bush. "Saphead," snickered a skink as its sapphire tail swooshed. Sapphire tail. Do you guys know what color sapphire is? It's the color blue. With a shrug of its shoulders, on the slug sauntered. With a swagger, it slithered up the slant. "Show off," scolded a squirrel, storing nuts for the season. "So sad," squealed a stink bug, shivering on a stem. Look, there he is, really small down there in the corner. For one single second, in a sunbeam, it slumbered. Its sleek skin was soft like shantung. Look at him sparkling. Now, all these other animals have lots of opinions on where the slug is going. Do we remember why? Seldom swerving or straggling or swaying or skewing, the smug slug shambled on. Struggling up to the summit, the slimy slug smiled, a self-satisfied smile. In spite of sinister signs, it showed no suspicion. Until something shifted and shuddered and shook. That sly, slippery slope was simply a sham. A sham is like something, it's like a trick. You thought it was one thing and it was really another. It's a sham. So this slope was no regular slope, was it? What does this look like right here? What are these? Big old eyeballs. What does this thing look like? Such a shock! Such a shame. Oh boy. Such a succulent slug. Where did he go? Do you see the slug? Where do you think he is? I think this guy ate him. Somewhere in this story, did you see a skunk, a snake, a salamander, and 2 snails spying on the slug? Also hidden in each picture is an S shape. Did you see it? That might be something fun to go back and look for some other time. And I haven't even found all the S's on every page, so that would be a fun challenge for me too. Some smug slug. He thought he was cool climbing up that slope, and he ended up in that frog's belly. So I thought something fun to do would be to think of some words that start with the same sound as your name and write them on a piece of paper to hang up in your workspace. So I made one to show you. Now remember, my name isn't Mrs. My first name is Sarah. So some words I thought of that start with the same sound as Sarah are super, silly, sweet, maybe more because I like sweets, but I guess sometimes I can be sweet too. And self-isolating. That's what we're doing right now by staying at home. We're staying at home by ourselves and our families. So those are 4 fun words that I came up with to describe myself. So maybe you could be awesome Alex, or spectacular Cesario, brave Bentley. Ooh, Charlie. Let's think of one for Charlie. What about Charlotte, Charlie? That's a tough one. You guys will have to tell me if you think of one for Charlie. Charlie, you've got a big challenge ahead of you. Cool Caitlin or magnificent Maisie. What about noble Noel or marvelous Malcolm and stupendous Stevie? Did I get everybody? I think I did. So parents, feel free to help them because this is not an easy task. It wasn't easy for me either. But remember, we don't want it to necessarily start with the same letter. We want it to start with the same beginning sound. Beginning sounds. I thought that would be a fun activity if you guys have some extra time, and then you can hang that up in your workspace if you want to. You guys have fun.